Hey everybody, this is SWChris. I'm from SW City, and today we're going to be working on the forest just behind Link's house. To our right, your left. I'm not showing it on camera because it's already finished. I had to redo this intro because I dated myself on the other one, and it's just been so long since the last video, and I want to apologize for that because, it's just Minecon, and the holidays just got in the way. And I really think I can do better than that. I want to put out at least one of these videos monthly. And so we're going to go ahead and get started and do a WorldPainter demo and then move on to the kind of the time-lapse stuff. All right, so this is WorldPainter. Not a lot talk about here. You can do a lot of things with it, such as raising landforms, pyramids, like this. And what's this one do? Raises a square pyramid, raises a square but rotated 45 degrees. Okay, so this one raises a pyramid like that. This adds water to the height. So flood the world. You can flood the world, turn it into a lava world. You can turn it into a lava world. This just adds splines and things like that. It's really cool, yeah. This flattens the area out, flatten out my pyramid. This is going to add slight slopes. I think it's making it steeper. You right click, it makes it shallower. This one raises a mountain like this. This one, what does this one do? This one changes the spawn point. So you click here, click there, click everywhere. This one dries up water, or adds it slightly. And this one lets you fill it with a full type of terrain. So if we want the whole thing to be gravel, kaboom, it's all gravel. What you're going to do, however, is not mess with these tools as such. We are going to import the map. Going to navigate to it. Already here on my E drive. Open the world, open the level.dat file. It opens it up. I'm going to mark the chunks containing man-made blocks read-only, so I don't actually build a tree through Link's house on accident. And it's going to take some time to open the world. We're going to zoom in here. Boom, boom. So this is our terrain. Out once. Down here's Link's house. The crosshatch pattern means that area is read-only, so I can't actually build anything in those squares, which is protection. Now we need to add some special trees. We're going to go to this little square down here, and we're going to click on Add a Custom Layer. I'm going to add objects. Now I have already taken the liberty of downloading some objects, and they are the custom tree repository objects by LIVESTREAMS. I don't know how to pronounce that because it's I think it's maybe it's Bulgarian or something like that. We're gonna go to I don't want the maps. I want the tree schematics. Northern trees of Europe. And I actually have a list of trees. Let me bring them over here. So for the open area here, we're going to do the general trees. So that's all these right here. These are just kind of like world trees that exist in, that I'm going to have exist in all the areas except the Witch's Hut and Lost Woods areas. So we're going to move this out of the way. I'm just going to select these real quick. European beaches and Hornbeam. Going to navigate North American folder, and we're going to add the sweet gum and the Douglas fir. We're only doing the extra large and the adult Douglas firs, though the small one doesn't really work for this area. Also the white oaks and the grand fir, just the small one, and the green ash. and the American basswood. On each of these objects that you're going to add, we have, let's see, the large ones. I want to lower the incidence of them popping up. So these are going to be lowered to 50%. And we're also going to lower the offset -1 so that the roots are in the ground. That's in case they spawn on the edge of any of these hills, that they won't look like they're floating. So now that we've got the frequency of this one down to 50%, you can have it collide with solid blocks, replace underground blocks. These are just the options. Leaf objects, I'm going to have them behave as exported, which I think is they're set to not decay. You have some floating leaves around here, that aren't touching wood, so those will disappear if you set the decay value on them. I'm just going to do this with all the large trees quick. All right, so we've got all these. All the leaves are set to not decay, and we're going to click OK. And we've got the custom layer object selected and highlighted. I'm going to select this brush up here. This is the circle. And I'm going to change, I think the intensity is fine at 50%, but we're going to lower the size of the circle here. So that we'll just paint it in like this. But the interiors are kind of a brightish yellow. So the map right here is kind of the general shape we're going for. Obviously, it's not going to be 1-to-1, because obviously we're working at a larger scale here. Right here. And I'm going to make sure I get one right here by just painting it a bright yellow. So this looks pretty good. We need to make sure trees don't generate way out here. So what I'm going to do is switch over to this circle right here, and then we're going to right click on this area and just kind of get rid of thing that doesn't generate. Okay. All right, so I am happy with this. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and merge the world, and we're going to merge it with this DAT file. We're going to merge it with select tiles. Now tiles are 128 by 128 blocks, and this is going to be more important later on when I world paint trees in. I don't want to modify all the existing tiles because that will take quite a long time. So we're just going to select the 3 where I have trees, and we are going to click OK, and we're going to merge old and new chunks. Select merge. Yes, I do only want those 3 tiles to be merged. Click yes. It'll take a little bit. The world finally merged, and then of course it creates a backup, so in case you screw up, you can always copy the files back. Try again. So we're going to go back to my Minecraft. And there is our first attempt. I do believe that is not right. That looks like that's floating. That should not be doing that. Oh, wait, no, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, that's definitely fine. Okay. So this is our first attempt. It blocked the path. And you can see it's pretty open here. Those are a bit tall, yes. I don't like the way this generated, so I am going to go back and try again. The dark forest is correct. I do want people to be able to run through here, but it's probably going to be filled with baddies because it's so dark. So we will be detailing this area with ferns and things later on. Forest generation. Okay, so this actually turned out okay right here. I just don't like this here or that blocking the way. So we are going to try again. But it is a pretty good first attempt. Looks very scenic now. Well, it took a few attempts, but we now have a nice thick forest here. I wasn't too familiar with WorldPainter when I did this / quasi tutorial thing, but I worked out what the problem was, why I was not getting the thick forest that I wanted. And the problem is, if you see here on your screen, the intensity slider, that lets you have thicker foliage if you increase the intensity, or thinner foliage if you decrease it. Since we had it right at 50%, we were getting about 50% blank areas, clear areas. So that's all figured out, and we're ready to proceed into the part of this video that most people are probably tuning in for, which is the time lapses. And so for this time lapse, we are going to be working on thinning some of the foliage here, because it's just a little too thick. So let's get started by cutting down this tall tree right in the front here, down to size, and then trimming off some of the foliage here nearby. Now the reason why I'm doing this is because as it is, it looks like a big green wall, and what we want to do is add some definition so that parts of the forest stand out from each other, and so that it actually looks like a forest instead of Minecraft leaves everywhere, you know. Now we're going to head over to the clearing just northwest of Link's house and start building the rock that covers the hole to the fairy fountain. This rock is going to be a little more natural looking than the one you see in the game. The one in the game is square, and while this kind of retains that sort of basic shape, what we're doing here is we're just kind of shaping it out a bit, expanding some of the rock around it to make it look more natural, adding some foliage and flowers and things in the clearing. And of course, the same type of blocks that I'm using are the ones that I used for the boulders in front of Link's house, if you remember those from the previous video. And of course, my buddy Zulus here joins me to add some grass underneath the trees as I work on a stump design for the stump that sits just to the east of Link's house. And then we both add foliage, grass and leaves and things like that, to the main group of trees to the north. And after finishing that off, Zulus helps me by working on a proper working gate for Epona's pen. Now, Zulus was working under a bit of a timer there. We had some Zelda contest music going, and he had to finish it in under a couple minutes. And it looks like he did all right, and even though I messed up on the time lapse here, you can see that it looks like a pretty good design, if I do say so myself. Now, enjoy some shots of the final result of the forest.